Understanding where you stand with someone can be difficult, especially when it comes to romantic interest. We've all been in situations where we've questioned whether someone truly likes us or is just being polite. In this video, we'll explore clear, unmistakable signs that indicate a woman may not feel the same way about you. It's not always easy to accept, but recognizing these signs can save you time, energy, and heartache. By understanding the subtle and overt signals she gives, you'll gain clarity and avoid misinterpreting her actions. Let's dive into these 7 clear signs that show she might not be as interested as you hope. Lesson number 1. Body language reveals indifference. One of the most telling signs that a woman doesn't reciprocate your feelings is her body language. While subtle, these non-verbal cues are powerful indicators of how she feels. When a woman likes someone, her posture often leans in, she mirrors movements, and her eyes reflect a spark of interest. On the contrary, when she doesn't, the opposite happens. She may maintain a stiff, closed posture, leaning away or crossing her arms to create a barrier. Avoiding eye contact is a strong indication of disinterest. Eye contact is one of the most powerful forms of connection between two people. If she avoids looking at you directly, especially when you're speaking, it signals that she's trying to minimize interaction. Coupled with other gestures, such as frequently glancing at her phone or scanning the room as if she's searching for an escape, this behavior is a clear sign that she's disengaged. Observe her feet as well. If they are pointed away from you during your conversation, it's a subconscious sign that she's mentally and physically ready to move on from the interaction. Pay attention to these signals. They speak volumes. Lesson number 2. Minimal or unenthusiastic communication. When a woman likes someone, she will go out of her way to engage in meaningful conversation, even if she's naturally more reserved. However, when interest wanes, so does communication. You may find that the conversations become shorter, filled with one-word responses or obligatory nods. Her tone might be monotonous or lack the lively undertones that indicate enthusiasm. Texting patterns also shift when interest is absent. While someone who's invested in a relationship might text back promptly or engage in detailed back-and-forth messages, a woman who isn't interested might respond with significant delays or not at all. She could use excuses like being too busy, but when these excuses are consistent and unaccompanied by any effort to reconnect later, it's a sign she's distancing herself. The lack of questions is another telltale sign. If she's genuinely interested in you, she'll want to know about your life, your thoughts, and your experiences. But if her responses don't encourage conversation, or she fails to ask questions or expand on her own answers, it's a signal she's not invested in knowing more about you. Lesson number 4. Canceling plans or making no effort to make them. When a woman is interested, she will find time to see you, no matter how busy her schedule might be. But if she constantly cancels plans or never initiates them, it's a sign of low interest. Canceling once or twice can happen to anyone due to legitimate reasons, but if it becomes a pattern, it indicates she doesn't prioritize you. Additionally, when plans fall through, take note of her follow-up. Does she make an effort to reschedule, or does she let the plan fade away without a second thought? A woman who values your time and presence will show initiative in maintaining contact or setting up another meeting. Conversely, if you're always the one trying to arrange the next encounter, it's a sign she doesn't share the same enthusiasm. You'll also notice this lack of effort in how she responds when you propose new activities. If she hesitates, deflects, or suggests she'd let you know and then never follows up, take it as a clear signal of her disinterest. This behavior isn't only frustrating, but an indication that she's not invested in spending time with you. Lesson number 5. Emotionally distant and not sharing personal details. Emotional intimacy is a pillar of any meaningful connection. When a woman shares stories, feelings, and personal experiences, it's an indication that she trusts and feels close to the person she's engaging with. However, if you find that conversations are consistently surface level or she avoids opening up, it's a sign that she's not interested in fostering a deeper relationship. You may find that any attempt to steer the conversation toward more personal topics is met with resistance or deflection. She might change the topic, give vague answers, or express disinterest in sharing her thoughts. This emotional distance creates a barrier that prevents a genuine connection from forming. It's also important to observe her reaction when you share personal stories or feelings. If she doesn't respond with empathy or reciprocate with her own stories, it's a sign she doesn't see the relationship as significant enough to develop further. Lesson number 6. Showing interest in others. It can be particularly painful, but one of the clearest signs that a woman doesn't like you in a romantic way is if she shows interest in other men, especially in your presence. This could manifest as talking about someone she's attracted to, being flirtatious with others, or focusing her attention elsewhere when you're around. Sometimes this sign can be subtle, such as frequently mentioning another guy's name, laughing enthusiastically at another person's jokes, or her energy perking up when someone else joins the conversation. These actions may be unintentional, but reflect her emotional direction. If you find that you're frequently left in the background or overlooked when other people are present, it's a significant indicator that her interest lies elsewhere. Similarly, if she openly talks about her dating life or asks you for advice about other men, it's a sign that she sees you as a friend or confidant rather than a potential partner. Though this might be difficult to accept, it's important to recognize that her actions are providing you with the insight needed to reassess your expectations. Lesson number 6. No effort in physical interaction. Physical touch, even subtle, is a sign of comfort and attraction. A woman who is interested will find small ways to make physical contact, such as a casual touch on the arm, leaning in closer, or finding excuses to be near you. However, if she keeps her distance and avoids any physical interaction, it can signal disinterest. When she doesn't like you in a romantic way, you'll notice a deliberate avoidance of proximity. This can include leaning away when you move closer, keeping physical interactions to a bare minimum, or showing discomfort when accidental contact occurs. These actions communicate her lack of desire to establish a deeper connection that physical closeness can foster. Even more subtle gestures, such as not smiling often when in your presence or appearing tense rather than relaxed, can point to her disinterest. Pay attention to how she reacts when you enter her personal space. Her reaction will be one of the most straightforward indicators of her feelings. Lesson number 7. Treating you as an option, not a priority. Perhaps one of the most challenging signs to accept is when a woman treats you as an option rather than a priority. This can manifest as always being available to her schedule, but never the other way around. You might notice that she's more than willing to hang out when it's convenient for her, but the moment you suggest a plan that requires her commitment, she becomes evasive. This sign is further amplified if she's consistently late, cancels last minute without much remorse, or expects you to accommodate her whims. A woman who genuinely likes someone will value their time and make them feel wanted and respected. If you find yourself in a situation where you're doing most of the work to maintain contact, initiate plans, or accommodate her busy schedule without reciprocation, it's time to reconsider her interest. Understanding these signs is not about fostering doubt or skepticism, but recognizing the reality of someone's feelings. Being aware of these cues allows you to make informed decisions and invest your time and energy in people who truly value you. Conclusion. Being able to recognize when a woman isn't interested is an important skill that will help you approach relationships with confidence and self-respect. These signs aren't meant to create doubt, but to empower you to make the best choices for your emotional well-being. While it can be disappointing to learn that someone doesn't share your feelings, knowing these signs allows you to move forward and invest in people who truly value you. Remember, the right person will show interest, initiate connection, and make you feel appreciated. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Stay mindful, stay resilient, and always prioritize your own self-worth.